Good afternoon from Los Angeles, and welcome to Stock Market Today, sponsored by Interactive Brokers. On today's show, we're going to take a look at 4 stocks, including Visa, United Technologies, and more. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. It's Alyssa Corum here with Ed Carson. And Ed, we did see the major indexes reverse lower today. The NASDAQ getting the hardest hit, down about 0.7%. The S&P 500 also logging a loss, but nonetheless, still pretty close to all-time highs.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the S&P 500 less than 1% off its record highs. And we have a situation, market doesn't want to die, but doesn't really want to break out to record highs. I mean, today we had some of the former leaders, those software names, continue to just wrecked. Payment stocks hit hard. You know, some of those are doing well, some of those are not. But then a lot of other breakouts struggling today. So, you know, there was a few names doing well. It was weird things. A lot of things were not working well for active investors looking for growth names.
Well, speaking of, let's touch on New Oriental Education, because this is a name that has been on our radar, formed a really bullish base. The ascending base had earnings today, but a great lesson here, Ed, of why you really want to look at those intraday charts, because it was an estimate-beating report, showed accelerating growth on the top and bottom lines, but a big reversal lower today.
Yeah, I mean, it opened higher. It was moving higher in the buy range. It's looking great. And boy, then it came right down. And I'll be honest.
And this is an intraday chart.
This is an intraday chart. So it came right down and very quickly went right through the buy point. I think it ended up closing below the 50-day line. Really negative action. New Oriental, I'll be honest, seems to have a reputation of going the opposite way of whatever it seems to be doing in the pre-market, or very quickly reversing. But stocks will do this. There were definitely other stocks that were reversing, and not just because of the market. I mean, there was just that, and that's something to be aware of. You want to wait a little while, see what those early trades do, and see if the big institutions actually come in and follow through on a buy. Yeah, you worry about it being chased out, but you know, this is that you can avoid these kind of negative reversals.
That's right. And if we could quickly flip over to a daily chart on that, just so you can see how it was really trying to break out of that ascending base, but today's move lower puts it now below its 50-day moving average. So again, very important to look at those intraday charts, and you can see how it looks on the daily chart here as well.
Yeah.
All right, and next on our list, let's take a look at Visa, because Visa has earnings soon, but it dropped today about 3%. Volume was a little bit below average as of right now, but the payments group, there were a couple of pretty standout names that were looking really good this year and had been holding up better than some of the software names had been lately, but now it looks like there's some weakness moving into the payment stocks.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some of them have already been weak,
right.
Like PayPal suffered another big loss. I think that's at a 7-month low. But
the leaders being Visa, MasterCard.
Those guys, you know, Visa and MasterCard, they've been holding above their 50-day line or close to it. Both Visa and MasterCard came down, and while Visa isn't at a low, it's not that far from a high actually, but its relative strength line is at a 5-month low. It's just, you know, just something to be aware of, that even the very best stocks in the group seem to be weakening relative to the market, and there's definitely a lot of others like PayPal and Square that are well off their highs. So Visa has earnings on Thursday, MasterCard is next week, PayPal is tomorrow. So we'll get a feeling if that is actually going to continue, but this was another one of those areas that was very strong for many years and into 2019, but not so great now.
All right, well, we'll keep tabs on that one. Visa is trading about 9% below a potential buy point as it looks to hold its lows from early October. So we'll see what the earnings impact is on that stock. And moving on, let's take a look at United Technologies breaking out. It gained about 2.2% in heavy volume here. What does this stock look like to you, Ed? How's it looking?
Well, it is actually sort of, it's not showing the whole chart. It is a little bit of a messy chart, but it's clearing that little resistance area. That's sort of a handle buy point. It is moving in volume. So it was a nice breakout. The earnings were accelerating, and the growth is in the aerospace area. Part of that's because of acquisitions, but that's where United Technologies is getting bigger, and United Technologies, it plans to merge with Raytheon, then break up the company and split off its slower growing Otis elevator unit and its carrier heating air conditioner unit. So, you know, this is positive. This is a Dow stock just like Visa. This is one of the positives. There's just too many negatives out there today. So we'll see if that can go, do well. I mean, defense and aerospace have been doing well. Some of them not so well, but this one looks like it's trying to be a leader, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's right. And we do have that relative strength line, at the very least climbing above the high of the handle,
Yes.
which is good to see for
Very
a
good
breakout
point.
too. All right, and last but not least, let's touch on Vertex Pharmaceuticals, gaining over 4% in heavy volume today, extending its gains over Monday. Positive news related to a cystic fibrosis treatment.
Yeah, they got approval yesterday afternoon. They jumped about 4% in a few minutes, and then it was halted for the rest of the day. They began trading last night. So I think this triple drug combo is going to cost $131,000 a year, but it is supposed to treat the underlying genetic problems for the subset of patients. Stock is rallying. It got up over a short-term level. It still hasn't gotten above a buy point. The RS line had been lagging for several months. Maybe it's slowly been improving the last few weeks. Nice bump today. There were a lot of nice healthcare names. Biogen, of course,
Right.
really boomed because they're going to do an Alzheimer's drug, but that one had plunged several months ago.
On the Alzheimer's
on the same
news,
drug
yeah.
being pulled, and Bristol Myers had some positive drug news. Centene had some positive drug news. So the healthcare sector was positive today, but it was a lot of more sort of one-off names. So it's really hard to play them. This is one reason why biotechs are so hard to play, because they have these big moves all of a sudden. It's like an earnings report when you never know when it's going to happen. So.
Right, exactly. A tricky space, but if you can get in the right names, it can be very lucrative.
That's right.
For certain time periods. All right, we'll keep tabs on that as well. But that's it for today. Before we go, just in case you missed it, we do have a new episode of Investing Strategies out now. Every week, I am reporting to you guys from the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. This week we had Betterment weighing in on the real cost of free trades now that we have this renewed broker war bringing the commissions down to zero. So we got some thoughts on that, as well as insights from Invesco about the solar sector. Quite interesting, actually, about the unsubsidized basis of how it could be comparable to fossil fuels. So make sure you check those interviews out at investors.com/investing strategies. And we also have a new podcast episode coming out on Thursday. We have a new one that drops every week. You can head to investors.com/podcast for details on that and to subscribe for free on your listening platform of choice. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.